Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be talking about SINP Tech Talent Pathway. So this is a subcategory for highly skilled technology and innovation sector workers. And Saskatchewan SINP, it offers you with the provincial nominee program. And this program, all those people who are associated with technology and innovation sector, they can apply under this particular pathway. And there could be two ways. You can either apply through non-express entry or through express entry. Today we'll be looking into how you can apply through express entry profile. So let's say for applying through express entry profile, you should be accepted to IRCC's express entry pool, and you may be eligible through this stream. So that is one of the things. And then there is a language test result requirement as well for your express entry language requirements. And then you have to meet the following work experience requirements as well. So if you are applying from Saskatchewan, currently working in Saskatchewan, and have worked for more than 6 months, that is 780 hours of full time work experience in the job with the employer, that has provided you with a job approval letter. So basically, you will also need a job approval letter, and you should have worked minimum of 6 months with the employer. Once you get the job letter and job approval letter, and you apply for this particular nomination program. So there are some other criterias as well. You can go through them. So this is the website link. I'll leave the link in the description box. And if you are applying from inside or outside of Canada, 1 year of highly skilled related work experience in the past 5 years in your intended eligible occupation. So if you are applying, let's say from inside or outside of Canada, so this is also one of the work experience requirements which they are expecting from you. Then there are certain things which needs to be fulfilled, like licensing is also one of the requirements. So let's say you are applying under certain categories or certain knock codes, like for example you are applying under computer engineers or software engineers and designers. So in that case, you should have a letter from Apex. So Apex is an association that provides licenses to engineers and geoscientists of Saskatchewan. So you should have an application registration with them, and they should have approved your EIT application. So engineer in training is the first step. They should have approved it. So you have to provide a letter from Apex indicated that you have been assigned confirmatory exams. So there's a long process when you apply to Apex, and you have to follow that process, and you will get a letter from Apex once you are assigned with the confirmatory exam. So you have to upload that letter as well if you are one of the applying under these knock codes and you are one of the engineers. Also, you should have a post secondary education that relates to the job you have been offered. So let's say your master's or bachelor's degree should be in a relevant field that is relevant to the job in which you are working. And you should also attest your intent to work and reside in Saskatchewan, and you should have an offer for an eligible permanent full-time technology or innovation sector job. So once you get this offer, your employer will help you to get the job approval letter. They will apply for you, and then once they get the SINP job approval letter, you can use that job approval letter to apply for SINP Tech Talent Pathway. Now, what knock codes are considered under this particular category? So, these are the list of the knock codes which are considered under this category. And the program criteria can change anytime. That is what they have mentioned uh, on their website. And there is a process of how to apply. So, we'll look into the application process on how to apply, how you can create your account, and how you can scan and upload your documents, and what all documents need to be submitted, what all forms needs to be filled. So we'll also look into all those things, all the requirements. So there's also another tab, required documents tab. You can go to this tab and you can understand what all documents are required. We'll look into these required documents step by step once we start with our online SINP application. Okay, so let's start by logging into our SINP application. So you can search for SINP login, and so let's go here. So this is the page for SINP login. You can create an account for yourself. So you can click on this thing and you can create an account. Select a registration type. So depending on what registration type it is, so let's say SINP applicant, since we are applying for SINP. And then you can click on continue, and you can fill all the required details and you can submit. So once you submit, you will be getting the username and the password on your email ID, and then you can try to log in with that username and password for the first time. But I have already created a login for myself, so let me log in and show you guys like how we can create the application, how we can proceed with the application. So let me log in. So this is the first home page that appears. Click on I agree. Once you click on I agree, you have to click on this please click here to begin. So we will start with the application process and start filling with the required things. Select the correct prefix, then you can select the gender. You can select the marital status if you want, let's say married, and you can select the date of birth. You can put your passport number here, and you can select the passport expiry date here, and it should be greater than the date when you are applying. There should be some validity of that passport, so you can select the passport expiry date here. In which country do you currently reside? So in my case, I'm currently in Canada, so I'll select Canada here. Depending on in which country you are, you can select it. And please enter your current city slash town of residence. So you can select the current city or town of residence. Let's say in my case it is Regina. Then you can enter your address, home address. So you can select your address, you can put the town, then you can select the state, in which state you are currently residing. Then you can put the postal code here. It is not required field, but you should put the postal code here. And then the country again, so let's say Canada. So it says, is the mailing address the same as the residential or home address? Depending on how do you want the mail to be sent to you, and if your residential address is same as your mailing address, you can select yes or no. So let's say yes. So it has added the address here. Next, you can enter your telephone number. Your email address will appear by default. Next, the question is like the applicants. Next, the question is like you need to select in one of these three options. So I am a skilled worker who wants to work and live in Saskatchewan. I am a foreign national currently working and living in Saskatchewan. I want to establish and actively operate a business in Saskatchewan. So depending on whatever option fits or suits well to you, you can select that option. So let's say I select I am a skilled worker who wants to work and live in Saskatchewan. And then do you have a representative that will be conducting business on your behalf with the IRCC? So in my case it is no, or depending on whatever is your case, you can select yes or no. If you have a representative, you can say yes, otherwise you can say no. And then we will click on save button. Now we will click on continue to next section. Do you have a current job offer letter? Job offer. So in order to apply it for tech talent pathway, you should have a job offer, because it said clearly over here that you should have a job offer, and along with that it should be a permanent full-time job. That is what I showed you earlier. So job offer is a required thing that you have to have before applying for this particular. So it says you have an offer from an eligible permanent full-time technology or innovation sector job in Saskatchewan. So that is what is needed. So you will say yes over here. And then, do you have an SINP job approval letter? So job approval letter is also one of the requirements in order to apply for tech talent pathway. So you can select yes over there as well. So you can see the job approval letter is something that is required. So it says you will need a valid SINP job approval letter to show the proof. Now what you can do is you can just select yes over here. Are you applying for the hard to fill skills program? So let's say no. Are you applying for the tech talent pathway subcategory? Let's say yes. Now it says if you do not wish to apply under Tech Talent Pathway Express Entry, then please choose no when asked if you have been accepted into IRCC's entry express entry pool. So let's say if you have already been accepted into IRCC's express entry pool, you can say yes. So in that case, select yes over here, and then you have to give certain details which are present on your express entry profile. So you need to give your express entry profile number, you have to give your job seeker validation code, and you have to enter the intended occupation among the occupation list that appears because of the tech talent pathway that you have selected. So let's say you select web developers and programmers over here, and then you have to enter a express entry profile number. So it is a uh, few digits of profile number which you need to enter. So that is something that you need to enter over here, and then you have to enter the job seeker validation code. So once you have entered all the details like your profile number, express entry, job seeker validation code, and then you will get some other questions. Like it will ask you, have you completed post secondary education training or from a university? So you need to enter the whether you have done it or not. So let's say yes. And then is your diploma or certificate related to your occupation you have chosen above? So let's say you have done it in computer science only and you are choosing the code as web developers and programmers, so you can say yes. And once you select that, it will also ask you some other questions like, are you applying from inside of Saskatchewan and have worked for the employer supporting your application? So you need to work for that employer supporting your application for like full time 30 plus hours for at least 6 months in the intended occupation. Then inside or outside Canada with 1 year of high skilled related work experience in the past 5 years in the intended occupation. So either of the option you have to select. So let's say you select this option because your employer has provided you with the job approval letter. So you selected this option, and now you click on save button. So once you click on save button, it says your details have been saved, and you can click on determine category in order to determine like which under which category you are given an option to apply for it. So it says International Skilled Worker Tech Talent Pathway Express Entry. So under this category, you can apply, and based on the responses that you have given to the above questions. So let's say you select yes, that I want to apply under this category only. This category is correct. So you click on yes button. It's taking few seconds to update the information. So once you have done that, you will be landing on this page, and so since you are on this page, you can start working on your application. You can go through once again whatever details you have filled in, and then you can click on next. So in the next, let's say you are given the option to select your, you have to fill all these details, and you have to keep clicking on the next button in order to make sure that you are filling it correctly and you are filling the correct things. So let's say let's fill out this particular section. It says current country of residence. So let's say you are currently in Canada, and you select Canada over here. Then residency status. So let's say you are a temporary resident, you are on a worker permit. Length of residency, so you can fill anything, let's say 2 years. So it says in years and months, that is what you have to specify. 2 years, 1 month. Then settlement destination in your in this province. So you need to select the destination. Let's say you select Regina. Once you have selected this, you can click on save so that your information has been saved, and once it is saved, you can move to next section. It is taking some time to save the information. I think the website is slow or something is there. So then now once the information is saved, you need to click on next button. Okay, and you will see that all these extra rows have been created for all the details that you need to fill in, and the details that you're supposed to fill in are applicant details, applicant declaration, citizenship, birth document, passport, marital status, education section, work experience section, and all those things like your IELTS score, and then final page of part 1. So this application has been divided into two parts, part 1 and part 2, and as of now we are filling part 1 of the application. So it is asking for your details, like it will ask for your birth city slash town. So let's enter the city name, so let's say New Delhi, and then birth country, let's say India. Then highest level of education, so in my case it is master's degree. Depending on whatever is your highest level of education, you can select from the drop down. So let's say master's degree. Then it says intended occupation knock, so this is the knock which we entered earlier. Then it says preferred language, let's say English. Then we are going to save it and we are going to move to the next part of it. See, the details are saved successfully. Now we are going to move to next part of it. Now it is asking you to read the applicant declaration and consent. And once you have read, you will agree to the terms and conditions and you will select yes. You will save it again and then you will move to the next part of it. And then over here, it is asking you what is your citizenship. So let's say you select India as a citizenship and then you save and then you move to next. Now it is asking you to give the birth document type that you're going to give it. So let's say you're going to give a birth certificate, you're going to upload your birth certificate, and it is asking you to enter the first name at birth. So what was your first name as it appears at the time of your birth? That is something that you need to enter over here. So you enter this birth name and then you need to select the birth document. So the birth certificate is really important over here and you need to upload the correct document. So you need to click on upload button and you need to upload the birth document over here, and if you have any additional documents or any supportive document, you can add that document as well. So let's click on upload button and let's upload a document. Let's go to documents and let's upload this test document which I already have, and we will click on upload file. So this will upload the document, so we will save it and we will click on next button again. Now it is asking about your passport details, so it says that you have to select the country. So let's say you select this country and then the country where your passport was issued from the drop down list, and if your passport number and expiry date, so this is something that you entered earlier, so it is appearing as it is. If it's not correct, then you need to edit it. That is what you have to do, otherwise you have to just upload your passport over here. So you can select a document and you can upload the scanned copy of your passport over here, and once you upload the scanned copy of your passport over here, you can click on save button. And if you have more than one passport, you can create another passport screen and you can upload the other passport as well. Otherwise you can click on save button and you can move to the next section. Now it says marital status. So let's say if someone is already married, so they will select as married as the marital status, and then it will ask you details about your spouse, and it will also ask you to upload proof of marital status, which could be your marriage certificate or any other kind of document which proves your current status, current marital status. That is what you have to enter. So you need to enter all these details. If you had a previous last name, that is something you have to enter, and if you had a previous first name or previous last name that appears on your marital status document. That is something you have to enter. So let's say you don't have anything, so it's not mandatory to enter. And then you have to enter the date that the applicant or spouse entered into the selected marital status. So when you got married, you have to select that particular date. So let's say you select 2013 March 12th. So that is your marriage date, or when you legally entered into this particular status, marital status. And then you have to select the proof of marital status. So let's say you are uploading your marriage certificate. So the process is same. You have to choose the file and you have to upload your marriage certificate. And you have to click on upload file. Then again, if you want to upload any additional documents, it's up to you, but I think if you're uploading your marriage certificate, that is more than sufficient. And then you can again click on save button and you can move to the next section. Now you need to enter your educational records over here. You need to mention your highest level of degree, and what is your intended occupation. Is it in the same degree or not? So let's say what all questions we have to answer over here. So the first question is, what is your highest level of education? So let's say you select post secondary education. Then it says, does your intended occupation or job offer require professional certification or licensure? So let's say you are a software engineer. So in that case, you will need a license or a professional certificate from an organization known as Apex in Saskatchewan. So it is asking that type of questions. So you need to pay attention. You need to go and search for your knock code, and you need to check whether your profession requires a certification or a license. So if the answer is yes to this, you need to select yes. Otherwise, you can select no. If you have a job offer, see regulated occupations and licensing requirements. If you do not have a job offer, exclusion list for occupations that are not eligible under the OID and express entry program subcategory. So if you have a job letter, you can go and check over here what are the regulated occupations and what are the requirements. Okay, so you need to go and check this thing. However, if you don't have it, you can move to the another part of it. Have you entered all of your applicable education? So you need to enter the education. So let's say you click on enter education. Okay, so create let's create a education screen and let's enter all the details. So this is the education screen that got created. So it is asking for all your educational documents and requirements. So let's say you select the country Canada because your last education was from Canada, or depending on whichever country it was from, you can select it. And then it says from which province it was. So let's say it was from Saskatchewan. And then you need to enter a date. So this is the start date that you have to enter over here. So let's say you started your education in 11th. Okay, let's just put this example only. So this is when you started your education, start date, and let's put the end date to it as well. Let's say you finished your education in 2017. And then name of the institution. So you need to select the name of the institution. So let's say you did it from University of Regina. Then let's say you want to enter the specialty, enter the program of study, and you enter computer science as your program of study. Then you need to upload these documents like degree documents. So you need to scan your degree and you need to upload your last degree document over here. And similarly, you need to get your digital copy of transcripts from your university, and you need to upload your transcript documents over here. So university will give you official transcripts once you complete your degree. So you can upload your degree documents and you can upload your transcripts as well over here. So let's select the transcript, like click on upload. So you have uploaded your degree and transcripts, and then if you have any additional document, you can upload it over here, and then you can click on save. So that is your education that you have already filled. Now let's go back and see. Now if you want to add another education screen, you can click on add another education screen. But if you don't want to add, you can go back to your main applicant section. And now we are back to, let's say yes, we have entered all our applicable education. And let's say your education is outside of Canada and it is from a different country. So in that case, you need to get your education credential assessment done, and it can be done by certain organizations. For example, WES helps in doing this, ECA, and they will send you a report, and you need to upload that report in order to prove that your education is equivalent to Canadian education. And this is something that is required if you are applying for, if you have an education background that is not from Canada. So this is something that is required and it must be done. Now let's move on to next section. Let's save this section and let's move on to next section. Also, you can check for completeness also, if you want. Once every section is completed, this says this section is complete and you can move forward to the next section. However, if any of the section is not complete, so it will show you the errors. Now let's move on to the next section. Once you have entered your education section and all the details related to your education, you need to enter your work experience if you have any. So let's say you have, it's the question is, do you have any work experience to disclose? Let's say you click on yes. Have you entered all your applicable work experience? So let's create a work experience screen and let's enter all those work experience details over there. So let's go back and let's click on that button, enter work experience. Once you click on that button, you will get this screen, and over here you have to enter certain details. So let's say knock ID. So you need to select the knock ID. So let's say you select 21232 software developers and programmers, and you select the country where you had the experience. So let's say you select India. Start date, so when was your last experience that started, details that you want to enter. So let's say you want to say 2022 August, and end date of your experience was, let's say, 2023 August. And you have to enter the name of the employer. So let's say you name it as SCL Technologies as name of your employer, then employer contact name. So you should be having all these details before filling your SINP Tech Talent Pathway application. You should collect all the details, all the documents, and then you should fill all those details over here. So you can give your HR contact name. So let's say city or town where this office was. So let's say it was in New Delhi. Then position title, what was your title? Let's say your position was software developer over there, you will enter the position here. And then you need to have a reference letter, and that reference letter should have a certain details, and this reference letter will be issued by your organization. So let's, for example, we have filled SCL over here. So SCL HR will issue this particular letter, and in this letter it will give you the it should provide the following details. The letter should include the following details. It should have your job position, the dates of employment, your main duties or responsibilities, number of hours that you have worked, and whether it was a full-time job or not, and updated contact information for your supervisor, manager, or HR department. So all these things are the minimum things that needs to be present in your reference letter. It's a very important document and you should have this document in order to show your work experience. Now let's click on upload button and let's upload, let's say, this reference letter. Click on upload file. Then it says government issued document type. So choose one government issued document type to submit for each position, okay, where work experience is claimed. So let's say you select your ITR form, acknowledgement form. For that particular year, you can upload your ITR form. And is your employer listed on your government issued document that proves employment with them for the duration claim? So on the ITR form, whether you have your employer's name or not, that you can show, or you can have taxation forms or any other forms that is being issued by your uh, government issued document, and it has your employer's number, or the organization number or organization name. So let's say you say yes, and then you upload that document. So you need to keep all these tax documents and all these things handy before you are uploading them to this application. And if you have any other additional supporting document, you can upload that as well. Now let's click on save. So this work experience have been saved, and now we can move to the, let's say, check work experience. So we are yet to fill one of the fields back in work experience section. So we will go back to main applicant sections. Once we are here, it is asking, have you entered all of your applicable work experience? Let's say yes. And then again, we will check for work experience completeness. So let's save and proceed. So this has been saved. Work experience have been saved. Now let's move to the next section. Click on next button. So this is the language proficiency test. So let's say you have taken one of these tests, you have taken IELTS. So it will ask you all these questions like first official language test results. So what was your overall score? Let's say it was 8. Then you have to take out your IELTS report, and you have to figure out like what all marks you have got. Let's say you got 8 here, 8 here, 8 here, and 8 here. Then you have to enter your language test date. Okay, and then do you have a valid language test for the second official language? Let's say no, you have only given IELTS, so you will not upload anything over there. And then you have to upload the test results, the results that you get, IELTS results that you will get. You have to upload that file over here. You have to scan and upload that file, and you have to click on save button. Now click on next, and you will be redirected to this particular page. So this is the last final page of part 1, and we will be continuing with this video in our SINP Tech Talent Pathway Express Entry part 2 video that I will be creating soon. So keep looking onto this channel in order to get more details about the second video, and I hope this information was informative to you. Please consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you. Bye bye.